Comment read. It was February 9th in 1942 that Congress pushes ahead standard time for our nation by 1 hour in each time zone, imposing daylight savings time, called at the time wartime. Daylight savings time, suggested by FDR, our nation's 32nd president, was imposed to conserve fuel and could be traced back to World War I, when Congress imposed one standard time on the U.S. to enable the country to better utilize resources following the European model. The 1918 Standard Time Act was meant to be in effect for only 7 months of the year and was discontinued nationally after the war. But individual states continued to turn clocks ahead 1 hour in spring and back 1 hour in fall. The World War II legislation imposed daylight savings time for the entire nation for the entire year. It was repealed on September 30th in 1945. When individual states once again imposed their own standard time. It was not until 1966 that Congress passed legislation setting a standard time that permanently superseded local habits. It was February 9th in the year 1960 that the official groundbreaking ceremony is held for the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The first star to be dedicated on the historic walkway belonged to the beautiful actress Joanne Woodward, an Academy Award winner for The Three Faces of Eve in 1957. Woodward's career began on Broadway, where she worked as an understudy to the female lead in the romantic drama Picnic in the early 1950s. It was during that production that she first met actor Paul Newman. Their marriage would become one of the most envied and enduring in Hollywood. After heading west from New York, Woodward signed a contract with 20th Century Fox. Her role in that studio's 1957 film, The Three Faces of Eve, as a woman with a multiple personality disorder, earned her an Oscar for Best Actress. Her romance with Newman intensified during the filming of The Long Hot Summer in 1958, and they were married in January of 1958. 2 years later, Woodward earned her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. After the official groundbreaking on the now famous walk, construction continued for the next 16 months, and by the time it was over, more than 1,500 actors, musicians, and filmmakers had received stars. Today, the Walk of Fame lines both sides of Hollywood Boulevard from Gower to La Brea, and both sides of Vine Street from Yucca to Sunset. Woodward's Star is located at 6801 Hollywood Boulevard. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce manages the walkway, which became an official landmark in 1978. New stars are added at a regular rate. By 1994, the total numbered more than 2,000. From 1980 until its continuance of eternity in 1908, the ceremonies were presided over by the popular mayor of Hollywood, Johnny Grant. In addition to playing small roles in movies such as The Babe Ruth Story in 1948 and White Christmas in 1954 with Bing Crosby, Grant also traveled with popular comedian Bob Hope on USO tours, performing at military bases all over the world. Johnny Grant was named to the honorary position of Mayor of Hollywood by the Chamber of Commerce in 1980 and spent the next 3 decades as Hollywood's leading spokesperson throughout the United States and abroad. It was February 9th in the year 1971 that pitcher Leroy "Satchel" Paige becomes the first Negro League veteran to be nominated for the Baseball Hall of Fame. In August of that year, Paige, a pitching legend known for his fastball, showmanship, and longevity of his playing career, which spanned 5 long decades, was inducted. Joe DiMaggio once called Paige, quote, "the best and fastest pitcher I've ever faced," unquote. Satchel Paige was born in Mobile, Alabama, most likely on July 7th in 1906, although the exact date remained a mystery. He earned his nickname Satchel as a boy when he earned money carrying passengers' bags at train stations. Baseball was actually segregated when Satchel Paige started playing professionally in the 1920s, so he spent most of his career pitching for Negro League teams around the U.S. During the winter season, he pitched for teams in the Caribbean and Central and South America. As a barnstorming player who traveled thousands of miles each season and played for whichever team met his asking price, he pitched an estimated 2,500 games, had 300 shutouts, and 55 no-hitters. In 1 month in 1935, he reportedly pitched 29 consecutive games. In 1947, Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier and became the first African American to play in the major leagues when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers. The following year, Paige also entered the majors, signing with the Cleveland Guardians, then known as the Cleveland Indians, and becoming, at age 42, baseball's oldest rookie. He helped the Guardians win the pennant that year, and later played for the St. Louis Browns and Kansas City A's. Satchel Paige retired from the majors in 1953, but returned in 1965 to pitch 3 innings for the Kansas City A's. He was 59 at the time, making him the oldest person ever to play in the major leagues. In addition to being famous for his talent and longevity, Paige was also well known for his sense of humor and colorful observations on life, including this famous saying by him, quote, "Don't look back. Something might be gaining on you," unquote, and, quote, "Age is a question of mind over matter. If you don't mind, It doesn't matter, unquote. Satchel Paige continued his eternity on June 8th in 1982 in Kansas City, Missouri. On this day, Paul Laurence Dunbar, an American novelist, poet, and short story composer, continued his eternity. It was also on this day in 1944 that the beautiful Alice Walker was born. Ralph Ellison's novel, The Invisible Man, won the National Book Award on this day. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. met with President Lyndon B. Johnson, our nation's 36th president, to discuss black voting rights on this day. And on February 9th in 1995, Bernard Harris becomes the first black astronaut in contemporary times to take a spacewalk. The information documented on this audio file can be verified on history.com.